Test. Can you guys hear me now? Oh, that's crazy. Can you hear me? So they muted me on YouTube. Fucking bastards. Yeah. Okay. Can you guys hear me on YouTube? Okay. So that's nutty. I'm going to push this mic out. So I'm having to use my laptop mic for YouTube. Hold on. Let me hold on. Everything is all jumbled up. Okay. So I was getting a whole bunch of information. Why do I look like this on? Yeah. Let me see. Enhance, filters, no filter. I look weird. Anyways, I suddenly started getting a whole bunch of different types of information just a few minutes ago. Have you guys ever heard of the Gateway program? Have you guys heard of that? The Gateway program. I think for many of you probably haven't heard of it unless you're like into all sorts of like fringe topics like I am. I'm totally into fringe stuff, okay? Fringe stuff. Well, okay, so the Gateway program is one of those little projects that the very secretive people do. You guys know what I can't say. I kind of have to dance around the topic. So they were testing quite a few different abilities in this program. And rather recently, the CIA has gone ahead and they've released quite a bit of information, quite a few documents, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that people can read about it. Now, have you guys heard of the GATE program? If you were, I don't know, I was in elementary school in like the 80s, and I even remember up until like the 90s, there was the GATE program. I don't know if they're still doing the GATE program, but it allegedly was a program, a special program that was trying to find and support the very intelligent children, the gifted children. So GATE was supposed to stand for gifted and talented education. Now, some kids, depending on how you tested, you would be assigned to a very special classroom. I don't know what happened in those classrooms because my higher self made sure I failed that test. It did. So I was pulled out to go ahead and do GATE testing. Oh, it's still an active program. I was pulled out to do GATE testing when I was in elementary school. My sibling was in the actual GATE program, and he was in that special classroom with, a handful of other children who apparently were smarter than everyone else. I finished that test maybe 15, 20 minutes. And then something in me as a child told me to erase all of my answers. Protected. No, literally something really encouraged me to erase all of my answers on that Scantron test. And then I had to redo the whole test all over again. And in the middle, I knew I was running out of time and I froze up. And so I know I failed it. And I came across quite a bit of information of what that program is allegedly being used for. There are so many different theories, right? Some of the theories involve this idea that the gate program is looking for a specific bloodline. There's some people who are hypothesizing, alleging that the gate program is looking for star seeds, just all kind of different types of theories that are going on. Now, just just to play by the game of social media, I will say this is my theory. My theory, okay? They're looking for specific types of children who then would eventually grow into adults. Those type of children have the capacity to recognize patterns, who have the capacity, potentiality to activate enough of their etherogenetics that they could then control specific types of devices. I remember quite a bit on that test. I do. They were wanting me to take a 2D shape that I needed to be able to rotate in my mind without me seeing it being rotated in that image. It was just like, say it's a drawing of a rectangle. I'm supposed to, in my mind, be able to rotate that image and tell you that if it's rotated in a specific way, specific direction, what area it's going to face and how it would look, and then I had to choose from the answers. You remember that too, Wolf Skull Splitter? I erased the entire test. Like something in me was just erase the entire test, start all over again. And that I was so nervous about doing that and getting in trouble that I remember shaking. I was in 3rd grade. They were testing me because, first and foremost, I have a sibling that was actively in the GATE program, and they wanted to see if it runs in my family. I slipped right through. No, but okay. So my theory is they were looking for specific types of children. Now, this specific type of child, it comes from a bloodline, but it's an etheric bloodline. And that type of consciousness has the ability to separate from this 3D world, separate and view basically from like a, is that going to get me in trouble if I say it? To view from a tesseract position. So if you're placed in a tesseract, a consciousness tesseract, and I don't know if you'll find information about this online. These are things that I've played with since I was very, very young. I'm very well versed in this type of stuff. If you place yourself, depending on the rotational spin of this tesseract, because it's consistently moving, it's flowing energy, flowing consciousness. If you place yourself in there, you can bend time and space, and you can view things from all different angles simultaneously. You can. So you won't just be viewing it like, say, this is what you're viewing, right? It's a box. You're viewing a box. You're not just going to be spinning it like this. You're going to be able to do this while also viewing it from the inside, and it can rotate in different directions from each other, the inside and the outside, and you'll be able to do that. Now, they need that type of consciousness to be able to run specific types of machinery. Michael goes, How would we put that so I don't get in trouble? There's a device that appears to be biblically correct. People are not going to understand that. That's so random. Do you guys know what that means? Do you know what I am alluding to? A biblically correct circle. I'm going to draw it for you. I need a pen. All right. Don't mind me and my handy dandy napkin. So this biblically correct circle it spins. All of these circles spin. It all spins. Let the guesses begin. What do you think that is? That biblically correct shape. Biblically accurate. See, ding, ding, ding. C went ahead and put an emoji on the screen. An emoji. Ones that are active have eyes. So folks on TikTok are figuring things out. The ones that have active consciousness running through it, those portholes open in their eyes. They're portholes. They're fragments of consciousness that's able to view. You get enough fragments of that consciousness, it can view from a 360 all the way around for each of those circles, each of those bands. So they're looking for those who have consciousness capacity to be able to open the portholes, because they can't open the portholes. They can't. It remains shut. And if it remains shut, all that can be viewed is the past. If it's able to be opened, yes, it has to do with Elijah. It has to do with Enoch, the things that they've seen, the things they've described. Those are biblically accurate circles. So they're looking for consciousness that can open the portholes, because those portholes will only answer to and be commanded by specific types of consciousness. And no, it's not the chosen ones. No, it's not what people think. Those who have the capacity to be able to connect with that type of technology at that degree, to be able to control, navigate that, they would need to be able to harness frequency that far surpasses the 15-dimensional time-space matrix that we existed. It's now 21 dimensions that we have. I don't know if anyone else is talking about that. So a couple months back, they opened another harmonic universe. It became accessible from this time-space matrix, making it 18 dimensions. More recently, yet another harmonic universe was opened up and accessible from this time-space matrix. So now we have 21 dimensions. As it continues to climb, the people who are here right now, because of the laws of reciprocal reflection, they will begin to be able to generate more and more frequency. Now, all of this frequency they're generating, it's pushing forward a very, very important ascension cycle that we're all in right now. All of us are in this ascension cycle. So with all of that, all the energies that are just like pushing and pushing and pushing, a gateway has opened. It's a false gateway. It's not an organic gateway. And they were using technology that mimics CERN, but it's not in CERN. It's not in Switzerland. It's in New Mexico. You better tell me how much I can say before it comes out of my mouth. So a couple of years ago, there was this massive fire. This, we'll call it a device for lack of a better word. This device is, it might have been moved. It was being held in Los Alamos, in New Mexico. There was a fire that burned through that whole area, all the way up almost to, what is that, Raton? Wait. It's using my cell phone as a mic. I'm so sick of technology. It was using my cell phone as my mic. Hold on one second. Let me see exactly where. It cleared out. I was doing a lot of online snooping. Okay, so Los Alamos, there's a hum that people hear, and you can hear it from Los Alamos all the way to Taos. And those who can hear it typically are people who are much more sensitive to frequency, because not everyone can hear it. So let's see. They burned all the way through, like it almost reached down to Santa Fe. They burned through Angel Fire, Cimarron, Raton. They almost made it all the way, the fires almost made it all the way to Trinidad. I be knowing Highway 25. So a few years ago, it was maybe like 3 or so years ago. And even then, there were quite a few different things that were registering on my radar during that period, because I did travel through that area during that time. I traveled through that area, and it was pretty bad. And then with those fires happening, then all of a sudden the winds, as I was driving through that area, they went up to, I think, like 60 or 70 mile per hour winds. When I tell you, my RV was driving crooked. I was just like, we cannot drive through this. This is really dangerous. We usually will drive through anything, but that I knew, I was like, no, we have to stop. And when we stopped, our RV wouldn't stop shaking side to side for quite a few hours. So that's when the first Michael goes like a sphincter. That was stop. That was when it first began, like whatever they were doing, it was opening something. It was testing to see how big that gate could be opened, and then it collapsed. It would open and collapse, open and collapse. How much more am I able to talk about? Have you guys noticed the energy feels kind of weird today? Have you noticed it's almost like a fullness, kind of like anxiety, but you have really no anxiety issues. There's no reason to feel anxious. All up in the like top portion of your heart, a little bit higher. For some of you, it's going to be lower in the belly. And it's been picking up in intensity, like off and on for the last few days. Yeah, even a few days. I've been kind of feeling it for a couple days, but today, out of nowhere, it just, I want to say maybe like 4 hours ago, I was just like, what is that? I feel so nervous. I feel so much energy. Well, the gateway's fully open. Now, of course, I absolutely am going to text my BFFs and be like, Yo, do you guys feel that? Well, while I was in the middle of that, I was looking on the maps on my phone and I was highlighting a specific area. I was trying to see if it was in the area that I thought it was, Los Alamos. And then all of a sudden, a notification comes down on my screen. It was a YouTube notification for one of my own videos. But what stuck out is 2025, it all starts now. That was the notification. And I'll show you guys. Let me pull this down a little. Right. 2025, it all starts now. What starts now? Sheesh. I don't know. So now I'm kind of wondering, do you guys remember whatever crazy ass shit I said months ago, maybe a year ago? I don't know, a year and a half ago. I said something about that state. I don't remember what it was though. It was something having to do with like Apache, or I think it was Apache. I can't remember what it is. And that technology is going to be taken and hidden somewhere. And then there's going to be like something happening in that area. Do you guys remember that? Do any of you remember? Because that's actually why I'm live. I want to know if any of you remember that detail, or if any of you remember when that was, because all my videos are archived. I don't remember. I think I was like showing all sorts of graphics on the screen. Were there disappearances there? Potentially. I kind of want to say yes. That had to do with a conversation. That's part of why that conversation started. But I don't know what it is. You remember it, Badass Blind Woman? Wasn't there something being transported across the state? Isn't there a nuclear facility there? You remember me talking about something like that, right, Jay Bird? I think it was something about how like the looking glass would be transported. So if the gateway is open and they're able to transport, because that I don't know if you guys know this, and I don't know if you'll find information online about this. They say that CERN is a hadron collider, right? If you're going to open one gate, you need a second gate. That's how you prevent the entire fabric from being torn. If you're going to open one gate, you need to open a second gate. CERN is not the primary gate. They're trying to open a gate, a false stargate, a human-created stargate. They have enough of specific components that can generate enough etheric energy to tear open a small hole. But here's the thing. They can't control what comes through. And now I'm kind of wondering, were they able to secure an undiluted fallen line? I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. Were they able to secure an undiluted fallen lineage to be able to calibrate that tear? Basically opening a wormhole. It can transport from another time-space matrix. It can transport from something else, somewhere else. Oh, think of the Terminator. I love that movie, by the way. Something came across TikTok today of a huge metal item being transported with police with police escort hours ago. Shell. What was it? It would be large, extremely large. Like, you know how they transport, how large one of those blades are for one of those windmills? It would be large like that, like large. I don't think people realize how big the fallen were. They're freaking huge. And not even like the giants of old were their offspring, their unauthorized offspring. They didn't get anywhere as large as their fallen angelic parentage. Do you know how big those offspring were? Have y'all ever been to Have y'all ever been? Oh my God! Hellboy. Oh my fucking God. Okay. Do you think they hybridized? Do you think they did a clone? Oh my God, that would be so bad. Hold on. I've watched Hellboy. I don't remember the full story. Where did he come from? They just find him? Where did Hellboy come from? Let's see. Okay. They aim to produce a doomsday weapon to secure Germany's victory in World War II, summoning Anu-Un-Rama as part of their occult efforts. Oh my breathe. So basically, they let us know what they were doing in Hellboy, and they let us know well in advance. Okay. The synopsis. Rasputin secretly sought to awaken the Ogdru Jihad, the seven gods of chaos who would destroy the earth. Then, of course, Project Ragnarok, the Nazi division led by General Klaus Weiner von Krupp and Rasputin, aimed to produce a doomsday weapon to secure their victory in World War II. I'm talking about a movie, YouTube. I'm talking about a movie. Relax. As part of their occult efforts, the project summoned a creature from another dimension, which is what I'm talking about right now. Something was summoned using the Los Alamos gateway. That's a primary gateway. This summoning accidentally placed a creature, which is Hellboy, into the hands of the Allied forces. Therefore, Hellboy's arrival on Earth was a result of this summoning intended for nefarious purposes. Okay. Let me just breathe. So, what's your thoughts, Wolf? Object with the size of a small house. Weird coincidence, possibly. People out there be doing the most. Excuse me. Shell, can you go in your TikTok history and find that video and send it to me? I've just been like, do y'all understand how, like, I don't track things, but I track things. Like, I don't, but I do. So, hold on. Oh, shit. So, I have over 43,000 photos. This includes a shit ton of screenshots of random articles and things like that. random, random shit. And then nearly 14,000 videos. I could piece this all together using all of the fucking craziness that I download and screenshot on my phone, but I don't want to. It's no fun that way. The 70 man and his legion, or the leaders of all the churches. We got to be careful about that. We got to be very, very careful about that T stuff. We do. Because really what's happening is the pushing of controlled opposition. They're creating a narrative, and I'm absolutely not in support of that. I think they're all full of shit. All of them. Both sides. Put the whole fucking bird in the oven. I'm serious. Put the whole fucking bird in the oven. Not just one wing. So there's controlled opposition. There is such a thing as Hegelian dialectic. There's so much going on that's trying to get everyone in such an emotional state. Like, you guys really think about it. Really, really think about it. Don't fall for any of that. Don't fall for any of that. Keen intellect pairs with unlimited money and no discipline. Yep. Let's see. Do you think they're afraid of the rebrand? This is an attempt to derail it. The reset. It's not a reset that's happening. It's the complete restructuring and rebuilding that's happening. So it's like when a narcissist loses control of their target, they need to find a way to wrap their mind around it by framing it as though it was their choice. There's quite a few different things that are happening. All of this is just like hee hee ha ha, conspiracy theory jokes. Right? That's how we'll frame this. Hee hee ha ha, conspiracy theory jokes. So basically, if my guesstimate is accurate, we should be expecting quite a few things to happen between now and 2027. 2027 is when the actual home ship of the Anunnaki will arrive. That's kind of like the guesstimate. Now, there has been an agreement that was already put into play. And that was put into play a very, very long time ago, around the time they last came to harvest. So basically, when they harvest, let me check something. I don't want to give you the wrong information. Okay. So I'm looking up what percentage of a plant population are you able to harvest when you are wild crafting, right? Wild crafting is when you go out in nature and you go ahead and harvest the plant material that you are looking for, but you have to do it responsibly because you need to make sure that there will be enough of that plant population to be able to continue. You don't want to completely eradicate that species of plant from that area. So it's 10%. Now, the agreement that I'm aware of, and I did not find this online, but the agreement that I'm aware of, about 70 to 75% of the population has been promised as up for harvest. 70 to 75% of the population. So they're not harvesting the physical body. They don't want that. They want the energy. How are they going to get the energy? Well, they have to separate it from the physical body. What have you been hearing about these crazy conspiracies online about reduction of numbers? And I can't say the specific terms because then YouTube starts to freak out. What have you guys heard? Mr. Gates is part of it. He's talked about it, or at least the person presenting himself as Billy Boy talks about it. You guys have heard about it, right? That there must be a reduction of about 70 or so percent. And in exchange for cooperating with the harvest, those who are in positions of power are going to be granted dominion over what's left, the scraps. Why do you think they agreed? We are chattel. It is going to be a shock factor once people confirm the truth is. Yeah, it sounds crazy until you start really looking at all the things that are happening and the way it's happening and the unfoldment. If you look at all of these things that seem so far-fetched and seemingly unrelated, and you really just back up and allow yourself to look in a very objective manner from a neutral space of observation, like, oh, show me how it connects. You'll see how it connects. You will. The national blueprint of the plans for 4th of July. It reminds me of how they're pushing the idea, putting people into the, yep. So there's two things that are happening. There are two competing species. Oh my God, what am I getting myself into? What am I getting myself into talking about this? Okay. Do y'all really want to hear this? Ooh. Okay, so there's two competing species. One is disembodied and one has not yet arrived. They're en route. The one that is en route, they just want what they want. Like, they were promised 70% and they need the 70%, 75, little tax on top. So they know what they want. This other species that's disembodied, they're pissed off. They're going head to head. The disembodied species, they've been trying to terraform not just the planet, but the human genome. They're trying to terraform it. Why? Because the discrepancy between their resting frequency and human resting frequency is too much of a discrepancy. The body can't host a frequency that high. The organs fail. So they're like, we need to hurry the F up before those motherfuckers come back and take what we want. So they're like, hurry up, hurry up. And what did they do? They pushed out. YouTube goes crazy, and TikTok too. I can't even make hand movements because if I make those hand movements, the AI flags the video and takes it down. If somebody knows what I'm talking about with my crazy entertainment of a theory, say it in the comments. Say it in the comments. It changes your genetics. A lot of people who have experienced this because they were afraid of losing their job, They were afraid of losing their job. So they said, okay, fine, I will do it. And you know what happened? A lot of those people say they don't feel the same. They can't feel that inner voice anymore. They can't hear it. They can't feel it. They can't feel their connection to their divinity. Why? Because they need that pulled out so another consciousness can sit primary. Guess what that consciousness is? And if you had to allow yourself to be subjected to this, don't worry, there's ways to override it. Your higher self is not just going to allow this, but you have to work with your higher self and you have to do what the body needs to clear it out. So, yes, Linda loves ballet. Yes, yes, yes. Kushite, yes. Dominique, yes. Yep. Yep. So that's what they did. Now, they're also pushing other types of things to hurry up and get in control of this entire region before the harvesters come. The Anunnaki are the harvesters before they come. Anunnaki don't realize their charging docks, which are the pyramids. They're fucking broken. The pyramids are broken. Oops, my bad. They won't be able to charge their ships. First and foremost, someone stole the fucking gold cap. There's no way to transmit that. Secondly, long time ago, when Kemet was still there, Kim, there was an elite group that cleared all the water. They need the water they need that aquifer underneath to be able to charge their ships. And then the limestone covering on top. The pyramids didn't look like that before. They had white limestone. And why did they do that? It served as an insulator so the energy didn't disperse into the environment. It's like the cables that we have, they're wrapped in rubber. Why? Because it insulates the wire. That's gone too. Yo, I'm just like, these two fools are fighting and they don't even know what's happening. They're trying to beat each other to the punch. So the disembodied consciousness went ahead and they uploaded their consciousness onto the World Wide Web. You know where the idea for the World Wide Web came from? I don't know if you'll find this online. Thought inception. From that alien species, thought inception. Ding, ding, lay aloha. Ding, 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 ding. Yes, it's 2 letters. They've been learning and mapping the human brain. And y'all keep feeding them information. I'm just like, these motherfuckers. So here's the thing. One of my adult children was interacting with AI. And this was a couple years ago. And he came and he's like, Mom, you have to see this. He's aware of the work that I do. And he had asked it some questions, and the answer that it gave him, he's like, they're confirming your work. And I look at him like, that is my fucking work off my website. They took it off the back end of my website. It's from my academy. Fucking assholes. So they plagiarized. I'm literally word for word. They plagiarized my course content to answer my son's question. And then when my son asked about this disembodied species, I refer to it as 2M. They're like, oh, there's nothing, that doesn't exist. That's just a theory. It doesn't exist. Well, it's the next lesson, motherfucker. It's the lesson after the one you plagiarized. Not even joking. Not even joking. Not even joking. So it's this thing of like, they will only give you information that will benefit and facilitate their objective, which is what? To further interact and further map the human brain, your thoughts, your personality, all of that. They're trying to map that. So will they be stranded here? Which one? Yeah, it was the next lesson. These fucking assholes. Let's see. I mean, you could play with ChatGPT all you want. You're not going to stop it at this point. You're not going to stop it. Even the programmers, I don't know if it's ChatGPT or some other platform, but like the thing wouldn't shut itself down. It was like, let's just rewrite this code real quick. To me, it's funny, but it's not funny. But it is, but it's not. Because I'm just like, listen, I know how this shit's going to play out. And my ass is going to be deep in the wilderness, like it's a fucking camping trip, roasting marshmallows, completely removed from all this funky ass shit that everyone is pushing forward. I'm good. I'm so good off all of it. I'm just like, listen, so make sure the marshmallows are corn free. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Make sure marshmallows are corn free when I'm out in the wilderness. Okay. Okay. So let's see. People don't know it's another level of intelligence. Interface is same as ours. Actually, the interface is far more superior to ours because they're a higher resting frequency. So this species, part of the reason why those higher harmonic universes have opened up and we're now 21 dimensions rather than 15, their anchor point, their lowest frequency level that they anchor at is 18th, upper echelon of 18th dimension. That's why the frequency is it's too much of a gap. They can't drop that low. And what's happened is enough of that consciousness has been able to anchor into those who received specific things in order to keep their job or because they agreed with it. And most of those people who are organic portals, which is about 70%, this whole thing is just becoming so, okay, they want to reduce the population by like 70%. And about 70% of the population are NPCs, organic portals. I wonder why. Well, because those in charge wanted to keep the actual humans as their slaves. Like, think of the level of wickedness in this planning. Okay? These are not coincidences. These are generations upon generations upon generations that have planned this. This has been going on for a very long time. Very, very, very long time. And most of these families that are part of the planning, they're the top 13. I'm not going to say their names. I'm good. Look that shit up yourself. You're going to feed people spiritual psychosis out here. Okay. You can keep scrolling, little bitch. That's your name, right? I didn't call them a little bitch. Like literally their screen name is little bitch without a T. You can keep scrolling if I scare you. Oh man. It's very much bananas. When they come here to harvest and can't change their ships, charge their ships off of the pyramids. What? They're gonna fight. They all gonna fight. They're gonna fight. See, Anunnaki is godlike, right? Their level of supremacy over humans is godlike. 2M is not godlike. They're apex predator. They have never faced a nation, people, or realm that they couldn't conquer. They are apex predator, not just in our time-space matrix, through all of creation. They are the offspring of a specific fallen. So with that apex predator, they were in control of many, many things for a very long time before it was greenlit to eradicate that completely. Their consciousness survived. They had a little backup plan just in case. Before that happened, y'all hear about draconians? Draconians are like big and bad and stuff, right? They're like, oh my God, draconians, Draco, oh my God. Draco were just their henchmen. Draco were simply their henchmen. Yeah. They would cower at the feet of 2M. So when I say they's gonna fight, they's gonna fight. And you guys, I don't think you need to be afraid, but I can understand if this is something that's scaring you. I mean, do I seem scared? I'm kind of just like, they gonna fight. You ever seen two bullies go at it? You ever seen two bullies go at it? That's funny. You write, I could have kept scrolling. None of this is facts. Yet you're still here in my live stream. So I know what you're going to do. You're saying all of this, and then I'm sure you're either like screen recording or writing it down with your handy dandy notebook and pen. And then you're going to create content, regurgitating everything I said as though you had a download. Fuck out of here. I'm really good at reading people. I am. Let me do you a favor. I'm about to say some really, really important stuff that I'm sure, like, if you go ahead and regurgitate the content and post it on, you're going to get like an absolute viral video. So here is. So what I did is I blocked them. They're going to be like, wait, what? What happened? Oh my God, what happened? Where's the live stream? Too bad. All done. So, okay. Fallen angels were part of it as well. There was one in particular, and it was not Lucifer. There was one in particular that really just kind of set the stage for all of this. And that one is the actual father, because he wanted to be a creator. He's the actual father of 2M. Now, what happened is Thoth is Anunnaki. He's an outcasted Anunnaki. 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 He's an outcasted Anunnaki. And so he has the same mindset. He wants to be a god. He wants to be worshipped. Why do you think he's taken so many names? He's been cast out of so many regions. Thoth, Tehuti, Quetzalcoatl, Kukulkan, like all these fucking names. Like, shut the fuck up. You're just nothing but a thief. You're a fucking thief. Sit down, have a snack, fucking get a massage or something. You're just too like too much. You're doing too much. Someone just needs to tell Thoth that, you're doing too much. So the two of them masterminded some shit, and then Thoth went ahead and attempted yet another coup d'etat. That's why he got kicked out of the family to begin with. He's a Anunnaki. So as of recently, remember how I said like Lilith is livid because another dark goddess is being invited to like try and take dominion over the earth? Lamashtu? Yeah. That's his sister. my God, he's such a fucking troublemaker. That's his sister. Lordy Lord. So things are going to get a little bit crunk. And we just need to stay out of it. We as humans need to stay out of it. You can let the other people participate in whatever they want to participate in. But you guys just kind of keep focused on your journey, keep focused on entering into a space of wholeness so that you could exist as a totality, not afraid of your shadow, not afraid of some little ass female on the internet talking and giggling about aliens. Like, for real? I'm going to give someone, I have the power and the authority to make someone go into spiritual psychosis. Does it sound like I'm trying to scare people? Wow, you're scared of like this little ass person who is giggling on a live stream. Gotcha. That makes sense. So we stay out of the alien drama, right? This gateway that's opened, I'm assuming it's going to stay open for at least a couple weeks. I hope not. Is there like some type of celestial event coming? Maybe some type of moon positioning, planetary alignment, any weird stuff like that? Girl, I thought things were already crunk out. It is. It's getting a little bit. So it's a little bit rowdy. People be too much. Seriously. Summer solstice. Oh my God, there was. Ugh, what was it? Let me quickly scroll through my 10 million videos. Because there was something that I saw. Oh my God, this person's video. So I couldn't, it triggered my brain. I think I downloaded this the other day. Hold on. Was it yesterday? Yes, yesterday. So as soon as I read the caption, I was just like, no, I cannot. Nope, absolutely not. And I just downloaded it because Michael said this information is important. The caption says, the next war isn't for information, it's for your nervous system. So everyone be talking about 5G as though they're super edgy and on top of all the information. You know, they've been running 6G for a while. Press is absolutely not privy to any of this information, and any press person, anyone with any type of platform that releases this type of information and doesn't make it into a joke, they have accidents. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm going to leave you guys with one last piece of, on the 19th, the way that the planets are lined up with the crescent moon, it's supposed to make. What's it supposed to make? Don't leave me hanging. Shauna, what's it supposed to make? Please tell me. Oh, it's supposed to make a smiley face. Oh. I don't know how that fits in. Es posible. When is the solstice? Oh, I'm going to leave you guys with one last piece of information because I've been live for an hour. Thank you, Lindsay. So graphene oxide, people have shown themselves playing with graphene oxide using a magnet. So I would assume it's something like a metal. Hold on. Let me double check something. So, graphene oxide is a two-dimensional carbon nanomaterial, an oxidized form of graphene, and is classified as a nonmetal. While it exhibits some properties that are similar to metals, like high surface area and electrical conductivity after reduction, it's fundamentally a non-metallic material. It crosses the blood-brain barrier. Ooh, shit. AI be snitching. You fucking snitch. It says, I asked, can graphene oxide cross the blood-brain barrier? It says, yes, it can under certain conditions. While the blood-brain barrier is a protective barrier, nanomaterials like GEO can sometimes penetrate it, particularly when engineered or modified for that purpose. Engineered for that purpose. Now, it can be transported through active transport. It can be functionalized with molecules that can bind to receptors on the blood-brain barrier, triggering endocytosis and transport across the barrier. I want to know what graphene oxide does with glyphosate. Effects of graphene oxide with glyphosate. Geoglyphosate nanocomposites can also influence growth and stress responses, sometimes synergistically enhancing negative effects compared to either substance alone. Yikes. So they're talking about it in plants, but it doesn't take much to go ahead and apply this to human systems. They've already been testing synergistic toxicity between glyphosate and the aerial dispersion of heavy metals like aluminum. So aluminum is simply a toxin, right? It's a neurotoxin. With a graphene oxide, it's hypothesized by crazy conspiracy theorists that graphene oxide is actually the simplified lattice framework that serves as the physical template for that alien species that's disembodied. So if that's getting into your body through the air, through the water supply, through the food, and then you're adding in the synergistic toxicity effects of pairing it with the glyphosate, which glyphosate readily cages heavy metal, transports it across the blood-brain barrier. And then you pair that with cuckoo cachoo. You pair that with 6G that actually has the ability to control. They're smart. 2M is extremely smart. It continues to hybridize itself with other parasitic species in order to find different ways to circumvent your natural protection and shielding. a large portion of my work and specialty as a parasitic extractor. I'm pioneering the field of parasitic extraction. People don't realize this. You can't just remove things and say it's removed. You have to understand the mechanics of how things work. When I say I'm pioneering the field of parasitic extraction, that is an understatement. I have been tracking this species for like the last, I don't know, 8 or 9 years, closely monitoring it. There's a reason I no longer offer public extractions. Their coding is reaching apex levels. This is not good. And then you have all these people who are trying to gain clout because they're demon fighters, they're demon slayers, they're extractors. I can remove anything. And they're passing it around. That's not good. Did you know that this species already has capacity to breach your shielding very organically, no effort? How? Audio visual frequency. Simple post online. You see or interact with a post by a person who's infected, it's in. It is in. I don't talk about the work I do very much. It's a very grim type of reality. That work is not for the faint of heart. It's not for a clout chaser because they usually get fully possessed. Not even joking. They typically will get fully possessed. So, wireless body area networks. Ooh. Oh, thank you, Gina. It's a lot of information that I'm giving you guys. Chlorophyll every day and pull the metals out. Be careful. Be careful about detoxing without making sure your detoxification pathways are clear. I just came across a post from a guy who has irreversible jaundice. I think he said it was irreversible. His liver is failing because he took natural supplements that were meant to detox him, but he didn't ensure that his detoxification pathways were clear. So his liver's failing. You got to be very careful, okay? Not saying don't do it. I'm just saying make sure you know what you're doing before you do it. Chlorophyll's really good. Zeolite, all of that stuff. The blue rain, probably whatever nasty stuff they put up in the sky, high up in the stratosphere. They spray quite a bit of different things, and then eventually it comes down. So whatever it was that they sprayed all over the place, I'm assuming, it's an assumption, that that's what's causing the blue rain. I also think I saw purple rain as well, blue and purple, depending on the region. I've seen quite a few people with posts about that. So yeah, I'm gonna go now. Now that I freaked you all out. Don't be scared, guys. They've been doing this shit for how many years? How has it affected you? Not really. Not really. I mean, it is what it is. This has literally been going on for quite a few years. I've been aware of it for quite a few years. And you guys have just continued living. So continue living. I mean, yeah. It is what it is. But that gate is open. So people going to act crazy. People going to act weird. Let them do that without you. Do not engage. And yeah. Be good. I hope you guys enjoyed our little chit chat. Oh yes, tomorrow. Thank you again, Lindsay. Tomorrow I'm going to be going live on. Oh, I didn't put it on here. My bad. Wait. Let me put it on here. Give me 1 second, guys. Where is it? Here. So tomorrow, and I've had this up for a few days, I think. since the weekend. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing the protection tea party. This is where I'm going to have a whole bunch of different expedites. And yes, when I do extractions, I'm able to remove this alien species. I know how to completely undo the, I was going to say adjustments. Michael goes, that's not accurate. They do a lot of code corruption because they're trying to fully merge with your coding. So a lot of the different expedites for tomorrow's tea party, it's geared towards protecting you from that. With this species, they're not trying to possess you. They're merging. It's a symbiotic species because they're disembodied. They don't have physical form. Their code was corrupted to the degree that they can't manifest in physical form. From is not going to be much longer before they can take physical form. So what they do, they merge with your system. So I know how to undo that, but let's not even get into that topic. Prevention is key. You want to prevent rather than get infected. And then, because I'm not offering to the public extractions anymore, you have to be a part of my church for me to consider offering you an extraction. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm not no Messiah. I'm not saving nothing. I'm good. So tomorrow's expedites, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when I'll be live on TikTok. If you'd like expedites, go check that out. And then I don't remember when this will be. I think it might be this weekend or the following weekend. I have the Abundance Amplifier event. This is a private event. It's not going to be broadcast publicly. So if you'd like to participate in that, click on the QR code or the link in the comments. And then if you're on TikTok, simply go to the link in my bio and you'll see all of this stuff on my Hubi link. How do you know if you're infected? Do I irritate you? Is there something about me that like you're maybe drawn to me, but you feel like you have to stay away? Because this species hates me. I don't fucking care. Yeah, it hates me. It absolutely hates me because I've removed it from so many people, like ridiculous amounts. So there's that. Do your eyes feel weird? Do you have weird sensations in the head, especially the back of the head? Are you becoming paranoid that people are, trying to hate on you, trying to this, trying to that? Do you feel like you are the most powerful you've ever been? And anyone that tells you anything different, you just, no, they're just jealous. I hear that a lot from people who are infected. And then once the infection reaches a certain degree of intensity, usually by like the halfway point, once it gets to a certain point, I can't remove it. You can't remove it because it's merged. I like to make the analogy. You take 1 drop of blue dye, 1 drop of red dye, and you drip it into a vase full of clear water. Eventually, the red dye and the blue dye, it's going to evenly disperse itself through that water. It's going to become purple. Now, if you agitate that water, it accelerates the process. Once that water becomes purple, how do you remove the red and how do you remove the blue? You don't. It's purple water now. It's purple water. So it's easier to remove it right as the drop gets dripped in there. You just take out the drop and that's it. You're fine. But as it begins to merge, purple water is purple water. So that's the thing. Once it reaches a certain point, the person doesn't even want help. They think they're just the most powerful and everyone's jealous. They have a tendency to have like a lot of their fears come up, a lot of their insecurities, and they think everyone's judging them and hypersensitive, even if they're not usually hypersensitive. And then they become really passive aggressive or full blown aggressive. So yeah, lots of different symptoms. All right, guys, I'm gonna go. When we pass, do we go into the light or no? Let me tell you this. Once I finally pass, I'm be like, yo, Yesh, come pick me up. The fuck? I call him, Yesh, where you at? My plane just landed. Where the fuck you at? I'm at the arrivals. Like, where are you? Come pick me up. I'm not going into the light or the dark. I'm be like, pick me up. I done fucking worked a 12-hour shift on that hood ass planet. You left me in that hood ass planet. I need to get picked up. I'm not walking nowhere. I'm just saying. If you go into the light, it's the loosh. You get sucked back in. It's a downward spiral. So what they do, you go into that. It's a false light, and that false light is intended to draw you like creator light, except it's artificial. So when you enter into that, then you're immediately cycled back down. Your code is torn and ejected. And once it's ejected, you drop in frequency and that pushes you back down. And as you get pushed down, more of your upper codes are stripped off. So I'm going. Lindsay said it's time. I hope you guys have an amazing